This is Rajesh Kumar Reddy. You can simply call me Rajesh. I'm your trainer for the rest of the course. And before we resume the session, we have certain guidelines, as you know. Yeah, I request you guys to join a couple of minutes or 5 minutes at least earlier to the session so that I can add on to the panel and we can check any kind of disturbances, internet or audio related issues. And if you face some, you can log out of the session and re-log in once again. And see to it that you have a very good bandwidth of internet connection of around 4 Mbps minimum, that is of minimum. And if you have a very good connection, that would be good because you need to not play any spoil sport for the course. And you can always ask me, raise a query on the session, and we can continue to interact as we have been doing. But by any chance, if at all you have anything to ask, we can reserve full-length questions or earlier module questions in the last 10 minutes as well. Okay, and also be regular to the session, and being regular to the session will help you out in going ahead with perfect practice and nuances, and you can also learn from each other in the session from the panelists. Okay, yeah. So, but by any chance, if at all you are unable to make it to the session, you can claim the recordings, and you can claim it the most 3 recordings. And whom do you contact? You know that. Okay, so you can contact the coaching support people in the afternoon shift. Surya Prakash, Sandeep, or Deepak will be able to help you out. Alternatively, you also can reach us on the Y-axis toll-free number by dialing the right extension. Okay, yeah, and you have the coaching support number there. The Y-axis toll-free number. Reach the coaching support by dialing the right extension. Okay, and you'll be able to use the LMS for the 3 months from the start date of your course. And if at all you are unable to access the LMS or any other kind of coaching tabs for your online practice, you're free to write to us at lmssupport@y-access.com mentioning your name and badge details. Okay, so yeah, so this is about, but do not tag me. If at all you have any coaching related issues regarding the modules and all, you can always write to me, and you know my mail ID, rajesh.y@y-access.com. So going ahead with the next session, but I have no one over here now. So before we'll spend time in interacting about the last module. If you have any doubts, we'll clear that. Siddharth, you can come on the mic and try to speak to me. If at all your audio is fine, then we can go with the interaction or whatever. Yes. Okay, Siddharth, I couldn't do that because I was extremely busy. Till yesterday night. I have 3 batches, and then today I was about to make certain things which I was overloaded with work, and then I'll review it. Okay, in 6:30 to 7:30 time I'll do that. Okay. So any specific questions, Siddharth, you want to ask before others join? Let us wait and have some clarification on writing module before others join, or else then I'll continue to go with speaking. In the next 5 minutes, we'll talk about any clarifications you have. You want me to say something, discuss with you something on writing module or the reading module?
No, sir, I don't have any doubt right now.
Okay. So meanwhile, till others come, so I'll play one video of speaking module. Okay. Will I do that? Shall I do that?
Yes.
Yes. You can keep on my mute, and let us see how we can go ahead with the same. So on the LMS also you have some reference videos. Okay. So we are on the session 1, and let us see what we have over there. Okay, so yes, what we're going to discuss today is about, we'll talk about speaking in module in general and the kinds of speaking tasks we have, and also how it is being rated, on which parameters it is being rated. Okay, there are a lot of things, but I don't want to talk much. Instead, I'll show you the video so that it will be easy for us and you. And meanwhile, if others join, that would be good. Or else, I'll still continue to take the session and explain the same. So yes, speaking module. So there are 5 things totally. Okay. So you have 6 questions, 6 tasks, and the time given also is 20 minutes, and you have 6 tasks. Let us see how it is being presented. Tell me if the sound is enough, or if it can be increased or decreased or adjusted. Tell me in the chat. Once I'll play for a few seconds.
Hi, I'm Michael from ETS, and welcome to Inside the TOEFL Test. Today, we're going to go inside the speaking section of the TOEFL test, specifically questions 1 and 2, the independent speaking questions. So in the next few minutes, we're going to look at how the questions are structured and what they're asking, how to approach the questions, how your responses are scored. We'll look at a sample response that received a high score, and we'll give you some tips from.
Okay, is that sufficient? Was that audible?
It was audible.
Not audible?
It was audible.
Okay, fine. I'm going to play. You can keep your mic on. Mute now. Yes.
Improving your speaking skills. So here is generally what the questions will look like and how they're structured. For both questions 1 and 2, you'll be given a topic to speak about with no additional reading or listening passages. You will have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak your answer. Now, 15 seconds is actually longer than you think. And if you feel like you need more time, just remember that professors at university aren't going to give you more time than that to answer questions in class. Now let's look more closely at what the independent speaking questions will be asking you to do. The first, question 1. Question 1 will ask you to speak about a person, place, object, or event that is familiar to you. Here's an example.
Talk about a pleasant and memorable event that happened while you were in school. Explain why this event brings back fond memories.
In question 2, you'll be presented with 2 situations or opinions. You will be asked which you prefer, and you need to explain your choice. Here's an example.
Some people think it is more fun to spend time with friends in restaurants or cafes. Others think it is more fun to spend time with friends at home. Which do you think is better? Explain why.
Now here are some tips for how to approach these kinds of speaking questions. Number 1, use the preparation time to organize your thoughts and maybe jot down some notes. Don't try to write a full response because you won't have time. And the raters scoring your response want to hear you speaking, not reading, and they can tell the difference. Number 2, don't memorize responses before the test, especially ones that you get from the internet or from test prep instructors who say that's a good idea. It's not, and it will lower your score. It's very easy for ETS raters to identify memorized responses because they sound different, and the content is different from responses that are more natural and spontaneous. Number 3, it's not necessary to organize your response into an introduction, a middle, and a conclusion like you would with a written essay. Just speak naturally and use common connecting words. Some of those are because, so, after that, on the other hand, I want to mention, and what this means is. Before the test, make sure you understand what the raters are looking for and how the questions are scored. In the speaking section, all 6 responses are scored on a scale from 0 to 4, and they're scored holistically, which means that the raters listen for various features in your response and then give it an overall score. Although there are some variations depending on the question, raters will be looking for 3 main things. First, delivery. Your speech needs to be clear and fluid with good pronunciation. The pace or speed of your speech should be natural, and you should have good sounding intonation patterns. Second, language use. This is mainly how you use grammar and vocabulary to express your ideas. And third, topic development. This is mainly how fully you answer the question, how clearly you express your ideas, and how you can connect one idea to the next in a way that is easy to follow. Now let's listen to an example of a speaking response that received the highest score of 4 out of 4. This is responding to question 2 about spending time with friends.
I actually only spend time with my friends in restaurants and cafes, almost never at home because my apartment is very small and there is just almost nothing to do. On the outside and in cafes and restaurants, it's much more, there are more people, the atmosphere is usually good, and maybe there's some music playing, or we meet to discuss things and meet other people and meet people we do not know possibly. There's always a chance to get to know someone, and it's always exciting. For me, it is much more exciting than just staying at home and in the environment that I know and I'm familiar with. I think it's boring.
Now let's look at this response in terms of our 3 main criteria: delivery, language use, and topic development. First, delivery. His flow of speech is good, and he's easy to understand, and he's able to sustain his speech for the full 45 seconds without repeating himself.
My apartment is very small, and there is just almost nothing to do.
With language use, his language is simple and direct, and he chooses his words accurately. He doesn't need to use overly complex vocabulary.
There are more people, the atmosphere is usually good, and maybe there's some music playing.
Topic development is also strong. He starts by stating his preference for cafes and also says why he doesn't meet his friends at his home, because his apartment is too small and there's almost nothing to do there. And he gives several reasons why cafes are better for him. There's a better atmosphere, often there is music, and he can meet new people.
There's always a chance to get to know someone, and it's always exciting.
So overall, this meets the criteria for a score of 4 out of 4. For more details about how the independent speaking responses are scored, see the speaking scoring rubrics on the TOEFL website. Now here are some activities that can help you build the skills you need for the independent speaking tests. Most important for these questions is that you need to practice speaking continuously for 45 seconds or more. So it's a good idea to have a stopwatch or other timer to use while practicing. Number 1, find a way to practice with native speakers or others who know English well, or join an English club, or start one of your own. 2, collect pictures from magazines, newspapers, or the internet. Look at each picture and describe it in 45 seconds. Try describing the same picture more than once, using different adjectives and adding details. 3, think for 15 seconds about what you did yesterday. Then talk about it for 45 seconds. Remember to use your connecting words and use verbs in the past tense. You can do the same thing to talk about what you will do tomorrow, using verbs in the future tense. 4, practice making a recommendation. Find a topic that you're interested in and explain why your idea is the best way to proceed. There are lots of ways to improve your English skills. Whatever you do, keep practicing. And good luck on your TOEFL.
Okay, so I'm back. Let me come onto the cam. Okay, so that was only about first and second tasks. Okay, so first and second tasks, Siddharth, are independent tasks. So what do you mean by? I think you might have understood from that. So what is an independent task? So what is an independent task? Okay. So the first 2 questions are generalized things which you know and which you are, through all these days. I mean, your life, your neighbors, your experiences, your family, your location, your hometown, and everything, whatever is related to you. Okay. So those 2 questions do not need any preparation. I agree, and I think you also agree with the same. So it should be spontaneous and it should be natural. And he said, prepared answers are not accepted. So what is prepared answer? In school, even to tell about transportation or pollution, we used to prepare like an essay. So that is not necessary. And You need not have a proper structure to speak. The way we have been interacting on the session, if I ask you about any topic, the way you're conveying your information, you have to be so natural. Yesterday you said, I experience the same. I've not been a good learner. I get goosebumps, when we talk about mathematics. Okay, that has been the same case, right? So we talked about in natural way. Yes, you can express your feelings about that particular situation in a natural way. So what is being tested here? Okay, so I think you've been there. The three things which are tested are delivery, language use, and topic development. Delivery is nothing but it is concerned about how good and easy your speech is. I mean, it talks about the flow of speech and intonation, and also it must be easy to understand for others. I mean, especially the evaluators, because when the speaking module is being recorded, it is evaluated based on the fluency and the right intonation. Intonation is nothing but the rise and the fall of the speech is called as intonation. Okay, at some places we use the intonation at high level, and again we decrease. That depends upon the commas and pauses and other kind of punctuation marks in the sentence. So we have a usual style of reading according to the punctuation. We pause at commas and semicolons, and we give a complete pause at full stop. And some words will have stress, and some words will not have stress, depending upon the sentence construction. So we have to maintain that. So when you speak naturally with a right flow, then automatically it is clear. So that is about delivery. And what about language use? When you say language, language is concerned about words, the kind of vocabulary use, and the kind of structure, idioms and phrases, and the language elements which you make use of to present the language in a better way. Why are some speakers special, and why even though we all are good speakers, we all speak, but only why are a few identified? Because they have that ability to attract the people by making the speech clear. Okay, for example, I may not be speaking in a language which is up to the level of higher standards of a university student or an engineering student. Why am I doing that? I want to make my teaching very clear and very simple. Okay, and so that it can be understood by each and every person in the panel. I mean, in my session. So I'm grounded. I'm coming to the level of the students, and trying to teach in that way. So that can be called as a language that can be understood. So what about topic development? The clarity with which you are able to develop the topic which you tell me about your hometown. So what should you talk about your hometown? You should talk about, first tell the name of the hometown, and then you have can tell any order. There's no proper or structure. So then tell about your geographical location and what is its weather and climate. Okay, because of the geographical location, and talk about in famous visiting places, and talk about prominent people from that particular place, and also one particular food or item or any product which is famous for. So you can take all these things when it is talked about hometown and develop the idea and speak naturally. So that is called as idea development or topic development. Okay. So, there are any questions on the first independent task, the parameters which or the video which you went through?
No, sir. I just only about like the independent task is purely personal. Like whatever the question is entirely like
Hmm.
my thoughts, like whatever I feel about that topic, and I have to
You
speak about that topic for about 45 seconds.
okay? So there are two questions in that. In independent task one, it will ask you about persons, places, events, and object of your type. I mean, whichever you had been through all these years, or whichever you like. You can see the first one. First one is personal preference. Okay, it may ask you about your hometown, persons, places, events, or activities that you enjoy or might have enjoyed in school days. Okay, what was your favorite sport in school day?
My
Siddharth.
favorite sports was badminton.
Okay, tell me why, and can you improve? Don't give one-word answers in the final test too. Okay, because it's going to be recorded. Okay, tell me now. Start and develop the idea. Why? What is your favorite sport and why? Speak continuously.
My favorite sports is badminton because I used to play badminton since I was the age of 10, and since because of so many practices that I have played for many other places, because of these reasons I love to play badminton.
Okay, any inspiration for the same? Any person, or it was a natural born, innate taste for you to choose that sport other than
Then
other?
this was actually innate. I learned
Okay.
this on my own.
Okay. Do you have any players in your home in your earlier generation?
No,
Or okay. So you got any inspiration, kind of person to learn that sport?
no, actually I just used to see the matches on the television.
Hmm. Okay, so my all these questions can be your topic, and you can use all these points to develop your speech because you need some content to talk upon. You of course you need not prepare, but you should know what you are going to speak. Got it? You're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. Okay, I spoke about hometown. So what are the things? Can you tell me what is your hometown, Siddharth?
My hometown is Bhubaneswar, right now where I am living, and right now I'm also doing my engineering in my hometown only.
Mm-hmm.
My hometown is also known as the city of temples because every 5 kilometer you will find a temple, and it is the eastern part of India.
Mm-hmm.
And the most famous sweet from our place is rasgulla.
Mm-hmm. Is it Rasgulla in Orissa?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And what is the language spoken, official language spoken there?
And our official language is Odia.
Okay. Can you just tell me about, one famous thing other which everybody knows about Orissa? Like Hyderabad, there is a speciality about, the heritage buildings and the bangles and the food. Okay, Orissa.
Yeah,
Uh,
Orissa is famous for its sun temple.
okay, so the one which temple which may not be in Bhubaneswar exactly, but one famous temple which everybody in the world knows.
Jagannath temple, Puri.
Yes, yes, you talk
Their
about that.
temple is well known.
Yeah, so that is what you want. I want you to elaborate on that because when you add, it's not about content knowledge. It's about how you develop the topic and elaborate and use all the language elements, grammar and vocabulary in that. Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so when you speak, when I am asking you all these things, it should be spontaneous. The moment you get a question, think in that direction. Okay, think in that direction and speak and include all the points whichever are apt for the same.
Means any
Okay.
point that can link to my topic.
Yes, yes. No structure, nothing. Okay. You can talk
Okay.
about one favorite street corner which you like there. It may be a pond, it may be a lake, it may be a boating ride. Okay. It need not be there. It need not be there. The fact and authenticity is not checked. Siddharth, got it what I'm trying to say? Only language
Yes, yes,
parameters
I
are
got it.
being checked. No authenticity check, no factual check.
Okay.
No opinion
Then
correctness.
yeah, I just have to speak for 45 seconds, including my points with fluency.
With fluency and topic development, what are the three things which I told you? I mean, the video also told about it. You can scribble down delivery of the topic, use of language, topic development. These are the three parameters which they check. Delivery, language use, topic development. Okay, delivery talks about fluency. Language talks about or tells about or tests about words, vocabulary. Okay, and grammar, vocabulary and grammar. And topic development, how you are developing the idea. I mean, all these things. When you talk about hometown, what points are to be added? Okay, how you are connecting things together. How you are connecting things together? He said certain words. You can use connectors like because, as, okay, after, and all those kind of connectors. Speak naturally and speak, without any kind of hesitation. Okay, and don't take gap in between. If you take gap in between, that 45 seconds, may not be sufficient, and bland tones will come in. Bland tones come in, the microphone may not be able to, record the next response properly. Okay, so when you're too conscious about thinking, you give gap in between. So when you're speaking naturally, that gaps won't come in between. Okay, yes. So that is about first question. What about second question? Second question, have you noticed the example which they've given you? Do you prefer spending time at home or treating your friends at home or outside? So what was that guy telling on the exam attempt? It was a model example. What did you listen to that?
Yes, yeah. He actually chose the one in the restaurant part, like taking the
Okay, what are
friends,
the,
going out with friends.
why? He expresses certain reasons for the same.
Because the first reason he gave was his house is small and there was nothing to do.
Mhm.
And second reason was that in restaurant there will be other people also. We can invite more friends with us, so there is no shortage of space. We can choose restaurant according to our will.
So this is called as topic development. Expressing reasons, showing valid and supporting examples, okay, and giving proper structure to his preference is called as topic development. And the kind of vocabulary he chose comes under language use, and with the fluency with which he spoke comes under delivery. Got it? That is called as second question. Second question, two choices will be given to you. One choice you have to make, and you have to speak on that. Okay? A personal question will be asked. A question of which you have been through, or which you can tell, or which you can go through in the future will be asked. Something of that sort. Do you prefer? We have a question of essay yesterday. Do you prefer making new friends or retaining old friends? If this is the question to you in speaking independent, which one do you choose? Tell me now.
Having the old friends because like you have to speak it for 45 seconds, right?
Yes, full sentences, no shortcuts, no half of sentences, broken sentences, full sentences. Okay, connecting them. No preparation
Okay.
needed. Directly you tell them.
I choose to prefer old friends because with them we have lots of good memories, and they are the only one who may help us in the future. I'm not against making the new ones, but we should not forget the old ones also.
Okay. What makes other than the bond and friendship to choose the old friends? What is the other reason other than the bond which you established? I'm not talking about intimate friendship. I'm talking about only the bond, the friendly bond. Other than friendly bond, what can you believe in old friends? The trust factor. The trust factor. You can talk about the trust factor. You can share to can share anything with them. That is a trust factor. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
they can be my 3 a.m. friends or 2 a.m. friends, which is one of the right phrases which is used by every celebrity these days. I mean,
Yes,
everyone.
yes.
Okay. So he or she can be my go-to person. Okay, all friends can be my go-to persons for any kind of problem. Okay, and
Yeah.
I would like to